Man, don't grab him. Hey, man, don't do that shit. Hey, I got him on live. I got him on live. I got his on live. I got his on live. He got him handcuffed, man. You said you ain't had no business jumping on him. You ain't had no business jumping on him. Look at this. Look at this shit, man. Look at this, y'all. Look at this shit. He got on handcuffs.
He got on handcuffs.
Man, he got on handcuffs. He got on handcuffs.
He got on handcuffs. Yeah.
We don't care.
Well, Darius Lewis, Eugene Lewis, and Packer Lewis were all arrested on the scene. In an exclusive interview with 12 News, Eugene Lewis, the man in the video seen in handcuffs, says if his brothers wouldn't have arrived in time, he is not sure what would have happened.
And it started because the man stopped me, right? When he stopped me, he pulled me over. When he pulled me over, he was like, put your hands at the car. I said, man, ain't that serious? Here go my hand, bro. It ain't nothing. So when he got me on at the car, he was like, do you smoke?
00959.
I said, no. He said, do you drink? I said, I drink, but I hadn't had a drink today. So he didn't find nothing. So when he coming back to the car, he didn't find nothing. He said, you go on me. I said, going with you for what? He said, you go on me because you said you smoke weed and you were doing 35 and a 30 curly driver. Get in the car. I said, man, you know what? That's that race coming at you right now. When I said that, he automatically hit me under my throat. Oh, I can't never let this go because I ain't did nothing to him. And I know this same white guy will get out here and do another black guy like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nobody around. Ain't no telling what he'll do to me.
The Commissioner of Public Safety, Commissioner Tyndall. And so I reached out to him, and he and I had a lengthy conversation about the video. And he's assured me that an investigation is being done by the Mississippi the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, as well as Internal Affairs. So we can not only rectify the situation, but to prevent a situation like this from occurring in the future.
Now we know how this goes, right? We can almost read the script. We're not going to pass judgment on it, but I want to tell you exactly what's going to happen. It's the same play. If this does get national attention, you're going to have pundits and talking heads on the right say, well, if he wasn't doing anything wrong, he wouldn't have got pulled over. If he wasn't going 35 and a 30, he wouldn't have got pulled over. If the guys weren't so close to the situation in a menacing way, they wouldn't have gone to jail. The cop feared for his life, which is why he pulled a taser out at the last second when his buddy showed up to show aggression. This is what always happens, right? This is the playwright. And then what's going to happen next? Well, after a 2-year investigation, after the whole thing has calmed down a little bit, we didn't find anything wrong with what happened. We put the cop on 3 weeks administrative paid leave. We think he's in the Bahamas right now, right? This is what usually happens. I mean, we're going to go by the playbook. We're going to go by the playbook, man. And as you see this happening over and over again, I used to be one to think that, maybe America is not more racially divided. Maybe we now have much more media and much more ways to get these things out than we did before. Because I was thinking to myself, back in the 80s and 90s, we had the 6 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, and the 7 a.m. news. This was before cable television really blew up. When you had people like Mike Wallace and Dan Rather and Brian Williams. And that was it. They told you national news in 30 minutes. And then you had the local news, could be 10 o'clock at night. Then you had a night show with Johnny Carson or Dave Letterman. That's all we had. So we didn't know what was really going on in these streets until the invention of cell phones with cameras, Twitter, Facebook, hell, YouTube. So I was thinking that maybe America has not gotten more racist. Maybe America has not gotten more violent. It hasn't gotten more violent because your grandma couldn't sit on the front of the bus. That was more violent. Maybe we're just now having more access to the underbelly. I preface this again. My grandfather was a cop to the day he died. Died in uniform. I love my grandfather with all my heart. I respect police with all my heart. My father was military. I respect the troops, respect the country. But maybe we should start finding out why this is a constant thing. Instead of just following the same freaking playbook. You know, what's next, right? So white folks are going to say defund the police. And then they'll drive back to their nice gated communities. It's Coach Simmons. May lose followers, but you know what? I'm out.